happening, guys? Chris, VA Travels, back down here in Mathews County, just off the Chesapeake Bay, and visiting Fort Nonsense Historical Park. The fort is proudly maintained by the Lane Armistead Camp 1772 Sons of the Confederate Veterans. And yeah, we're going to be reading some plaques. And I'll tell you, Mathews County is named after Thomas Mathews, Speaker of the Virginia House of Delegates in 1791. Mathews Courthouse Confederate Monument, 1912. Yeah, that one's got a Johnny Reb on top. And a couple girls dressed up right there. New Point Comfort Lighthouse, 1885. I've got a video on that. And yeah, this thing is, because the tides are rising, this thing is almost got swallowed up. They had to put a rock barrier around it. But pretty neat lighthouse. And over here, I just recently did a video on this, the Kingston Parish Church, Episcopal Church. And yeah, I've got a video on this one. The parish goes back to 1652. And some famous graves in the graveyard. Sally Tompkins, one of only 2 commissioned female officers in the Confederacy, or actually all of the Civil War. Also, Toby Wing, a famous Hollywood actress from the 1930s, is buried there, along with her husband, Dick Merrill, a famous pilot. All right. Oh, yeah. So you've got bathrooms over here. Fort Nonsense. Yeah, it was originally called Smart's Mill, or the North End Mill, before it got its dubious name. Over here with a fine haircut, nice bow tie. This is Second Lieutenant William H. Clark, and yeah, he supervised the construction. Graduated from VMI 1859. I was going to say he looks young. And yeah, enslaved labor was used to build the fort. And provision returns for the men at Smart's Mill. Can't make that out too good. But over here, U.S. naval vessels pursuing a Confederate blockade runner. This is out of Harper's Weekly, December 31st, 1864. Yeah, looks like some cannons are going off in the distance. And this is a position of U.S. forces under General Wister to cover operations of cavalry in Mathews County, October 5th through the 9th, 1863. By land and by sea, federal incursions in Mathews County. And no major battles were fought in Mathews, but there were a couple of federal incursions. So it looks like they attacked in November 1862 in order to disrupt salt production. And there was another October 1863. All right, so Sam Smith II. Show these guys off. Some nice epaulets on this guy. The General Isaac Wister, holding his sword. Captain John Wood, and Acting Master John Y. Beale. And then up here we've got a military map of Southeast Virginia, 1865, and there we are. Yeah, again, right off the Mob Jack Bay. Oh yeah, and they've got the first Confederate country flag, the first of 3, flying up there. The wind just kicked up. Oh, and to tell you where the name Fort Nonsense comes from, the fort was built here on the end of the Middle Peninsula to prevent the army from marching up the peninsula toward Richmond from the Chesapeake Bay. The fort, it was never attacked from the east. The only time it was attacked was from one of those raids. The bigger one from 1863 happened in Gloucester, which is west of here. And if you're ever in Gloucester, there's a big write-up about it. Destroyed some salt works, stole a bunch of livestock, whatnot. But yeah, so the only attack came from the west, and it prompted a local to say that the fort was a big piece of nonsense, so hence the name. All right, so first off, here we go. It looks like the trench is just starting up right here, and pretty deep, pretty high wall. You see it going around. But over here, some information on field fortifications, defensive earthworks, and just talking about how Lieutenant William Clark He used several types of fortifications in the design: a redan, a redoubt, and a lunette. Over here, redan, which is a French word for projection and salient. And it's got this little protruding V right here, this little salient right here, this redan. A redoubt is a French word meaning place of retreat. It's usually an enclosed defensive emplacement outside of a larger defensive system. There you go. And then finally, lunette, which is a French word for little moon. Lunette is an outer field work that forms a salient facing the enemy, but is open on the side facing away from the enemy. If you can make that out, it's a little faded. Learned a little about earthworks, and over here, Fort Nonsense. How was Fort Nonsense built? Logged earthwork construction. Boy, looks like you can go underground right there. And these gibbons, G-I-B-I-O-N, whisker baskets made of saplings, vines, and small trees. They were piled to create walls. Abatis and ditch. Abatis, that's tangled tree limbs with the end sharpened facing toward the enemy. And they would place 60 to 80 on the wall. And that was intended to slow the enemy, enabling defenders to deliver close, small arms fire. Wow. And these gibbons over here, it looks like. Down here. Oh, yeah, they were constructing them by moonlight. Wow. Of course, I'm not going to walk down in the ditch or any further, but yeah, pretty wide. All right, yeah, so they do have picnic tables over here. And I see another plaque further down, and I don't see any trenches, any earthworks on this side. Oh, all right. So some sort of bridge going on over there. And maybe this loops. Yeah, it looks like this probably loops around. So it's not a very big park, I guess. But if you're over in the area, just a quick way to, quick place to stop off. Get a couple thousand steps in. Get some fresh air. Oh, all right. So they're pretty tall over here. And it's hard to say if that's anything, but yeah, very deep trench. Wow. Okay. Trees growing all up along the wall. But over here, artillery position. Wow. All right. And is that this fort? Yeah, some soldiers behind some breastworks. And they've got little tarps above them, kind of hunkered down, almost like World War I. Archaeological evidence suggests that the fort's parapet extended across present-day Route 3 and 14. So yeah, intersections right over there. And this just says artillery pieces and platforms. I'll just show you this picture. These almost look like Union soldiers. Well, a drummer boy right there. Kind of chilling out right there, posing for the picture. Let me walk across this bridge. But yeah, it's feeling nice now. The sun's out. Warming up a little bit. It was 24 degrees when I woke up this morning, and it's going to reach 58. Actually, probably a little bit warmer out here. Oh, all right. So we're going to walk above the breastworks. Huh, all right. I'm gonna guess a couple more plaques down here, probably. Maybe not. Oh, all right, so we've got a gun over here. I don't see any I thought there might be a couple markers down here. Oh, yeah, nice place to sit down. Wish I could zoom in. Not a very good backdrop, but that's a 3-inch, 10-pound Parrott rifle. Pretty neat. Looks like they're working on the bridge back there. Cool. All right, so let me get a closer look. Big tree right there. Sign on the tree says flowering dogwood. Kind of random because I don't think you're supposed to be walking down there. Cool. All right, so earthworks at Fort Nonsense. Alright, so let me walk back this way. Might see another marker. Actually, I see one right there. Oh, I'll tell you that a bunch of these loblolly pines. But yeah, I'll tell you that local watermen, they formed the Confederate Volunteer Coast Guard. They would hide out in inlets, creeks, and they would launch random attacks on Union boats going up and down the Potomac. And they would also smuggle goods from the eastern shore. All right. Civil War in Mathews County, Confederate units and leaders. And I'm recognizing this guy. All right, General James Lane. He was at Petersburg and Appomattox. I'm feeling like he was at Fredericksburg and Chancellorsville, but I'm not totally sure about that. But yeah, attended VMI. Born here in Mathews County. And again, Sally Tompkins, the Angel of the Confederacy, the Florence Nightingale of the Confederacy. Born here in Mathews. She's got a cottage in Mathews you can visit. I've got a little video on it. But lived one time in Port Royal. And yeah, I'll say it again, one of only 2 commissioned female officers in all of the Civil War. Some veterans right here. This is March 31st, 1931. Over here we've got Elkanah Diggs, William Burroughs. All right, down here, John A. Lewis, Walter Stokes, Major Giles Cook, and over here, John Wesley Minter. There you go. But yeah, smaller trenches over here. And there's a little cut across right there. Okay, looping around, and is this a dead end? All right, I might have come down to a dead end, but at least I get to read this. Looks like this would be the last marker back here. Again, little bench right there. Civil War in Mathews County. And looks like some sort of frigate right there. Let me see what that is. Is that the Mob Jack, I bet? No. All right, no. No, that's Mob Jack's a little steamer. USS Minnesota from Harper's Weekly. There it is on the high seas. Okay, so Union African American sailors. All right, so the U.S. Navy's longstanding tradition of recruiting black sailors enabled several runaways from Mathews County to enlist aboard Potomac Flotilla and North Atlantic blockading squadron warships. January 30th, 1862, the logbook of the USS Young Rover noted the arrival of 5 Mathews County contraband escaped slaves. See, that would be John and Washington Diggs, Alec Phillips, and Joe Williams. Captain Van Brunt believed that these men served energetically, and they evidently felt that they were working at the deliverance of their race. All right, the USS Arago and sailors on the Arago off Charleston, South Carolina. And I guess that's a black soldier right there. Looks like. Picture's pretty flaked out. We're in some sort of little salient right here, it looks like. Maybe, kind of. Okay, so let me wrap around. I think I have seen it all now. Well, that wraps up my little walk around fort nonsense. I don't know, just about a quarter-mile loop, maybe a tad bit longer. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. As always, like and subscribe. See you on the next one.